as the news from this past week in the NBA is that Steve Kerr got a 2-year, $35 million contract extension with the Golden State Warriors, where he will remain through 2026. And so, Gary,
That's
what did you think about this move? It
Sheesh.
sure is. It sure is. So,
man, like you said, Shaun, multiple-time champion. I don't know if you mentioned that, but hey, as deservedly so. I mean, on par with, I guess, Stephen Curry. I think they locked and loaded together until, they want to part ways and one wants to retire in a way. But, hey, man, just like Eric Spoelstra in a way, he got that place on lockdown, and as deservedly so, He deserves that. He built a culture builder, helped deliver them multiple championships, and he's probably in the GOAT debate of one of the greatest coaches of all time, and obviously one of the best role players and shooters of all time, too, all the championships he has. So, I mean, I don't know why you give me that, Shaun, that face. I said he could be top
the
five.
GOAT debate? The GOAT debate? A guy who hasn't even been coaching for a decade? What?
Yeah,
no.
His resume is up there. You got what? You got 3 rings?
He has
rings?
a resume. He's got
He has a resume. That's why he's coaching the Olympic team. You have gold medals to his resume, man. He got a lot of things. He got the best team ever on his resume.
The longevity.
He got a lot of things. Exactly.
He hasn't been coaching for that long.
But he's gonna keep coaching. But you keep adding these deals, keep adding up. I don't see him stopping anytime soon, Shaun. So I feel like he could still be easy top 5 right now. Maybe GOAT debate was a little bit reaching on my end, okay. But top 5, I for sure think he could be top 5 looking back at it. But at the end of the day, he deserves this, and yeah, he's still in the middle of his career in a sense, and coaching wise. So yeah, he got a lot of time to go. Especially if Curry's gonna keep playing.
Well, that's where I push back on what you just said, Gary, because first you were saying that this extension at least allows Steph and Steve to remain together, at least through the remainder of Steph's playing career, because as we know, playing careers end up being a lot shorter than coaching careers for obvious reasons. But Steve Kerr, if he sticks around beyond the Steph Curry era and has success after that, that's when I may consider him to enter that conversation. Okay, well, he's got to stick around.
Well, who's your GOAT then? Who's your GOAT? Because every GOAT we got, he's going to come with the best player. Phil Jackson? Who you got?
The GOAT?
Popovich?
Yes. A lot of people would say Phil Jackson. A lot of people would say Greg Popovich. Some would even say Red Auerbach.
They all got Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan, Kobe.
I say
who you say?
Patrick Riley is the GOAT. Because of everything that he did as a player, as a coach, as an executive, Pat Riley to me is the GOAT. If we are talking just strictly as a coach, then probably a Greg Popovich, just because Greg Popovich didn't have the playing career that a Phil Jackson did that preceded him. Well, I stopped. Well, Gary, we'll have to catch back up with that in a moment. I paused for a second just to let you jump in there, but Jaevon, now tossing it over to you. Just what do you think about this extension for Steve Kerr and the Warriors?
I thought it was deserved. I kind of see him being the coach for the foreseeable future, but I don't really get because Steve Kerr has had obviously he's been a player, he's been a broadcaster, he's been a GM, so it's like he's kind of jumped all over here and there. You could argue kind of like a Pat Riley. He only got a 2-year extension. It's not like a 10-year contract that Shaun has already mentioned that he hasn't really been coaching for that long, but it seems like just the other day that they were going to the finals pretty much every year playing against LeBron James in like what was it 4 straight finals, but LeBronologists will come at me.
Almost a decade.
10 straight years. But that's neither here nor there. But I think that Steve Kerr is one of the top LeBronologists in the NBA. He's that would make this extension would make him the highest paid coach in the NBA. And I kind of interjected earlier, this is 3-and-D money. This is what guys on the open market are getting to kind of come to and play for your team. But no, I wouldn't see anything else. But this is I would say a decaying dynasty because, currently right now guys are kind of getting up there in age. Albeit the Warriors are one of the hottest teams in the NBA currently right now. I feel like they've kind of, hit their stride. But if when you look at Steph, Clay, and Draymond, they're all in their 30s. So I wouldn't see this team kind of getting up there. I don't know if they're going to be consistently getting to finals year in and year out. They're kind of just trying to, rebrand. I wouldn't say rebuild is what they're trying to do. I feel like they're trying to, pivot and, in a different direction as we're seeing, with lineup changes like Klay Thompson coming off of the bench. We've seen Draymond come off the bench and even Steph's come off the bench in playoff games. But that was due to injury. But you're kind of seeing, and, they're getting Chris Paul back too. So that might help them in some shape or form. But I feel like the 2-year extension should be maybe like a little bit of a telling sign for like, hey, let's see where we're at in 2 years. Like, is Clay still going to be there? We already heard that Clay, I think it came out earlier in the week, or was it at the end of last week, where he was like, he doesn't plan on playing until he's 40 years old, wants to retire as a Warrior. And we don't know how much left that he's had in the gas tank. And I even heard Draymond Green, who was on a podcast this past All-Star weekend. I think it was Jeff Teague's podcast, where he was saying he's never gotten a max extension before. And, wanting to, be one of those max guys on a roster. So wants to get as much as he can out of each and every contract that he's trying to get. So, and obviously there's Steph Curry, arguably the greatest point guard of all time. How many years left does he have? It doesn't look like he has any signs of slowing down. He's still averaging like 27 a game, all-star caliber, one of the best players in the league. So that 2-year part in the extension is kind of telling a little bit, seeing like, hey, let's see where we're at in 2 years. Are we more of a fringe playing team, or are we still one of the top 5 seeds in the Western Conference?
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mentioned earlier that this is obviously through 2026. To me, like it doesn't even feel like 2026 is 2 years away. It feels like 2026 is like 4 or 5 years away. No, 2 years away. So I guess we'll see where the Warriors are at in a couple of years.